Hi everyone, Arwen from Even Star. Apologies first of all, I am 5 minutes late tonight. Had a little unexpected visitor staying at my house this evening, which is lovely, but has put me a bit behind in my schedule. So hope everyone's well. So tonight's topic is the holy grail of the working woman, which is work-life balance. And I just wanted to have a little chat about that and let you know some information that I have gathered on that topic in the last few weeks in relation to International Women's Day, which is on tomorrow. So I hope you're celebrating in some way. By the way, if you are online, if you do want to put a comment on so I know you're there and say hi, that would be great. So with regards to this topic about work-life balance, it's certainly something that gets bandied around a lot, and the whole idea of wellness or well-being in the workplace is something that we hear more and more about, but really what's being done about it. As far as women working in modern day life and living in modern day life and being mothers and carers for other members of their families, I guess that the big thing is the mental load that this causes to us. And this is work that our brains are having to do almost 24 hours a day a lot of the time, and is not work that we are being paid for. So this is aside from the fact that the 2016 census found that Australian women do between 5 and 14 hours of unpaid housework each week, and Australian men only do 5 or less in general. That is unpaid work that is of a physical nature, doing those boring, repetitive but necessary things that need to happen to run a house. And on top of that, we have the mental load of thinking about all those things that do need to happen. So it's not just the doing them that needs to be counted as work, it's the thinking about them and keeping everybody in the house on track and remembering who needs which uniform, what are we going to have for dinner, do we need to book those tickets for a holiday. Also often coordinating even other people outside the immediate family if you're a carer for elderly relatives or even other friends who are not well or whatever it is. So it's a huge amount of work going on in the heads of many, many women in the modern day. And this is obviously not just something that affects Australian women, but as we are in Australia, that's who I'm focusing on today. So the problem with being in that situation and really having your head switched on most of the time is that obviously that is a stress. And what is being recognised more and more in workplaces when they're talking about well-being is that stress leads to less success in a business, basically. Stressed and unhappy workers are not going to be as productive, and therefore the whole organisation is going to suffer. So that is the other side of what I wanted to talk about, is organisations that are focusing on wellness and well-being more. And how is that happening, and how can we find out about it? So as far as how we can manage it as individual women, I did go out to my contacts all through beautiful Facebook and got some ideas from people about what they do in order to manage work-life balance. So if you're one of those people, thank you so much for taking the time to respond. But I guess the most common things that people said were that they adjusted their work hours. So that was really the most common. So they either worked school hours if they had school-age kids, or they basically sought and obtained a flexible working schedule from their employer. And there were some comments about particular industries where this was more common and had been required because it was noticed that more and more women were leaving the workforce in particular companies or industries, and therefore it became recognised that flexible work was required. So if you're not in the situation where that is common in your organisation, the best thing to do is ask. The worst that can happen is they'll say no, and the best thing that can happen is that they'll say yes. The other thing is not necessarily just getting flexible work for you, but for your partner, or, you know, and for both, even in some cases, seem to work really well, so that both parties can take on some of the mental load for thinking of all the other things that need to happen, as well as doing them: grocery shopping, cleaning, picking up kids, taking them to activities. So there was a lot of comments about people whose partners got time to work at home, or they themselves work at home some of the time, which just makes it easier to juggle all those things. Also, outsourcing household chores, obviously, like cleaning, and even childminding was a common one. And the thing to keep in mind with all of this, though, is that scheduling all of these things is a massive part of that mental load. So don't discount that, and make sure that your partner, if you are the person doing that in your household, make sure your partner is aware of that you are undergoing this mental load all the time, and that needs to be taken into account. Planning meals and making sure that they were easy and quick weeknight meals was something. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to make a comment about that, you know, now that my kids are older, you know, my oldest son's quite into actually cooking, and that's a good thing to do as well. Get the kids involved in cooking, get the kids involved in cleaning up, and make that part of the family time, not just the after dinner watching Netflix together, which we love to do as well in my house, but it can all be family time, which is really nice. So as far as workplaces that are going to be more supportive of flexibility in working and offer other benefits like time off to look after people who need to be looked after in your family, and then there's the more overt things, I guess, like organisations that offer massages, or even sleeping pods, or healthy snacks, or even there was one I read about that offers contemplation rooms now. So all of that is fantastic. That does tend to be much larger organisations that have the larger amounts of cash to spend on it, but I think it's going to become more and more recognised that this is something that all organisations need to take into account. There is a website called Glassdoor, which is a website where people can review organisations that they've worked for, and that does rate organisations on all of those kinds of things, on what kinds of benefits that they offer their employees. So that's a really good site to look at and be able to get an idea of what is an organisation going to be like to work for when you're looking for some better work-life balance. And I think that's probably the main things that I wanted to talk about. So being aware of the mental load is really, really important for both you and your partner, and I'll actually put a link to a cartoon that one of the fabulous women who responded to my post referred me to, that she then showed her partner, and it made him aware of this whole mental load fact. The other thing is Annabelle Crabb's fantastic book called The Wife Drought, which is all about this as well. So I'd highly recommend that. If you've got any questions, if you'd like some energetic balance to help you to deal with the stress of all this mental load that you're going through, then please contact me and I'll be happy to give you more information, or if you'd like to book a session, I'll put a link in the comments for this video. Most of all, I hope you have a fantastic International Women's Day tomorrow, and be well. Bye.